you guys are doing well. First live I've had in a while. Thought I'd come on here and just show face. What up, dog? Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me okay?
Awesome. Thanks for jumping on, man.
Yeah.
Happy to meet you.
Yeah, of course, man. Let me just. What's up, dude? Dude, it's cool to get to officially meet like this.
I know, right? Like it's like 15 years ago we'd meet in person, but now we're meeting over a digital platform. It's like the changing of the world, just evolutionary. But
I know, man. It's crazy. So
yeah,
you're
officially back home.
back
It's
home?
my second day home. I've honestly kind of been like in hiding because like I feel like the second I go out, people are going to be like, "Dude, what's up?" All that stuff. So I've just been chilling, but obviously, as you know, like all the messages are like rolling in, and so I'm like trying to like take care of the DMs and take care of like calling my parents, my friends, and all that stuff. So yeah.
So you got your phone back. So this is your first day. You're Houston?
Yeah,
right?
Houston. Yeah,
that's where you're from.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice, man. So you took a flight home back to Houston from Hawaii.
Yeah, I landed like yesterday at like 1, but like I'm still in Hawaii time, so like 1 p.m. So I was up until like 2 a.m. last night because I was like still in Hawaii time, and so I was like all out of it.
So yeah. So when you got your phone back, did you when you first turned your phone on, like the notifications?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like
insane, man, right? I didn't sleep the night that I got mine back. Like
I was tripping out because
I was just trying to catch up.
I asked them to talk to my mom because like that was the biggest thing I wanted to do was just talk to my mom right when I got off the show. So I had my phone, I saw all the notifications, but I couldn't even act on it because they took my phone right after I talked to my mom. So I was like the entire night I was just like, I need to talk. I need to get to these notifications. I need to talk to these other people. But I mean, as you know, it's just like a brutal process. Like the quarantine and all that stuff was just they're so strict. So it was for sure.
Yeah, I feel that, man. So had you been to Hawaii?
No, it was my first time.
Before that,
it was. I mean, like going to Hawaii is a little different than actually experiencing it because we had to quarantine. We were we're in the villa, so it wasn't like I was out like exploring the mountains and like seeing all the sightsees and stuff like that. So I'm definitely gonna try to go back. But it was pretty. It was gorgeous. So for sure.
Yeah. So we're just a real quick question also. How many weeks did you guys have to quarantine before you actually? I
mean, they
started filming.
It didn't really make much sense, but it was a 2-week quarantine. But like as you know, like when you're in prep for the show, you're already quarantining, because you're locked in your room. So it was a 2-week quarantine before we got to meet the executives. Then we met the executives, did the whole interview process, and then we finally started to get let in. So I think I left and went there June 6th. And I didn't get in until July 10th. So, so I was there for a hot
about like a month, right?
It was, for sure. Yeah. How long were you there?
I got you, man. So it was about a month, about the same process. So I want to say the filming started August, 20th or so, around there. And I got there, I want to say about a month before that too. So it was probably along the very similar timelines. But yeah, how's it feel to actually be back and everything? It's
nuts. I mean,
gotta be.
Yeah, it's nice. Luckily,
adjusting back. Yeah,
my work gave me this next week off, so I'll go back to work on the 2nd.
Yeah,
but I'm the type of guy that likes to not really take breaks. So I'm going to LA to see some friends
for sure, man.
Next weekend. So I'm gonna go out there, have some fun, and I'm gonna come back and then get back to the grind. But just all the things that are kind of, you know, the interviews that are coming up, and then like, you know, all those things. I'm just going to try to take full advantage of them. And like, you know, as you know, like sometimes when you get off the show, some people have like a skewed perception of things, you know, sometimes. And so like, I think it's been nice having these interviews because I was able to kind of clear things up a little bit of like what people might have thought. I mean, you know, I've gotten most positive feedback, but some people I think have thought like, you know, who knows, you know, people make things up.
Yeah, I know. I totally get that, man. It's definitely. Can you guys like go in the house?
Who is your sisters or you guys?
Sorry. Just on like a little family. but I totally understand that. This is my little cousin Vivian.
She's cute.
And your goddaughter.
I love it.
Goddaughter as well. So, but yeah, no, I totally get that, man. It's definitely a interesting, you know, now coming back off of the show and kind of readjusting to life, and like there's, you know, these interviews and stuff that people kind of want to do, and just figuring it out. It's a process in and of itself.
Where do you live?
But
yeah. Okay.
So I live in Pittsburgh. So I am so I'm you know, working still in the city and everything, and basically right now we're down in the Outer Banks in North Carolina, just doing a little vacation right now. But yeah, so I'm up in Pittsburgh, man. So so I guess leading up into the show, I'm just kind of curious, like, have you watched any of the show before
like
much. You went on?
So when they reached out to me, I hadn't watched an episode, but I knew that it was like a kind of a cool concept. So like when they reached out, because I've been through the casting process for other shows before, like Bachelorette and like the Circle, and like a bunch of different processes before. I just like, it never worked out. Either I didn't want to do it, or COVID happened, or, you know, just other scenarios. But so this one kind of just fell into place the right way. But I did start watching when I was in quarantine, season 2. So like you're, I mean, I knew that you were like a super dope, genuine dude. Just like I could tell from like, I mean, you can really tell, you know, you can tell people are faking it. And you can tell like who people are, and like, yeah, appreciate that. Like it meant a lot when you DM'd me, and I was like, whoa, thank the Lord, because I was actually talking to my chaperone about you, because we were talking about season 2, whatever, and so it was just ironic. But yeah, so I watched up to like Casa Amor for season 2, so y'all, and then like they took my computer away, so I didn't get all the way through, but I got the concept down.
Gotcha. Sure. Oh, so you were actually watching the show like immediately before like going on to filming, like in Hawaii. You were watching, like you hadn't watched
for the show. I watched the season 2 episodes just to get the concept, but when the show aired, I went in like kind of how Caleb went in for y'all. So I saw episodes beforehand, so I knew who was already in there. So when I came in, I kind of had a general idea of like who was in there and whatnot. But yeah,
like watching like, you know, your season. Yeah, that's curious. I was just wondering because like for me, I had never watched any of like the show at all before until they had reached out to me, and then I was like, oh, just to get a feel for it. Like you, I watched the first season like super quickly just to get an idea of like what you know we were signing up for and everything. So but yeah, I was just curious just to
I wish I would have been in your position where like you went in first, because like I cannot tell you how rough it was.
Dude, it's hard. It's by yourself too, like going on by yourself. Literally. And no one else kind of like Will this season had Cinco when he went in, and then also with the 3 girls, like Roxy, Leanne, and Florida, like they all had each other. But even like Amy, like by herself too.
She did go in by herself. I mean, it was tough though, because like when I went in, every single person was in a couple, and so like all the dudes like it was rough because all the dudes were skeptical of me. They thought I was some like shady dude, and all the girls were like, you know, obviously googly eyed at first, but then like, it's just tough, like to make, you know, I think like both of us don't put ourselves in those situations in real life. And so like, it was just like, it was so freaking tough, like to talk to like 9 different girls and be like, you know, what, like, what do I choose? Like, what do I do? Like, it was, I don't know.
Yeah. 9 different girls that are kind of, you know, some of them are, I mean, it's one thing maybe to be talking to 9 like different girls that are single, but you know, now you're talking to however many different girls that are, you know, coupled up, but you don't know if they are, you know, fully, you know, stamping that, like, you know, I'm in this couple, like I'm not open to, you know, getting to know anyone else, or like you're still trying to read that from them. So it's very confusing, and you know, it's, you're just relying on what they tell you, and
for
sure, maybe people don't really know where they're at, and they're just like,
I mean, I had 0 idea
I'm open, but okay.
Was at. Now that I'm watching the episodes, I'm like, if only she would have told me where her head was at, and not to the camera, but to me, you know, like all these things, like I just didn't know. And like also, you know, a lot of things the public doesn't know because they don't see like all the behind the scenes stuff and everything. But yeah, it was definitely a crazy experience for sure. Do you ever get up to LA or New York or anything like that, or do you usually reside where you're at?
Yeah, sometimes, man. I was out there pretty recently. Before the show, I had never been out to LA before. You know, I'd gone to New York City a few times before. However, the first time I went was actually like directly after I got off the show. And then I actually had been out there about a month or so ago. I went out there, did you know, a couple photo shoots out there. And then went to New York like almost immediately after. So here and there, I will. Are you considering trying to move out there?
It's in the
LA.
It's a thought process. I don't know. Like it would have, because I love Houston. I'm sure. Like
for sure.
You said Pittsburgh, right? You're in Pittsburgh, right? Or were you? Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah, okay. So like probably similar reasons why you like Pittsburgh. Like Houston's great because there's pretty good like genuine people in Houston. I've been here for 2 years, a little bit over 2 years now. So like I kind of know what's going on. I have like, you know, my friends, my like, you know, kind of I call them family now here. And LA would be, you know, it would be one of those things where just like if opportunity presented itself, then yeah, like I would definitely. And I have a lot of friends in LA too, so that's a plus. But it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, you know, sometimes the grass isn't always greener, but sometimes you got to make the moves that are best for you. So right now I'm just kind of like figuring out what my life looks like right now since I just got back from it, and then like I'll probably go from there. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's just tough, and also like financially too. Like it's just one of those things you're going and you're paying like triple the amount of taxes you're used to. So you have to realize getting into that.
I know all about it, man. Yeah. But yeah, I you know, last couple questions I was just curious about was like, do you I saw Casa's coming up. I think it honestly is probably happening like right now, because I think like, so when you got off, I'm sure you had to like stay in the hotel quarantine like for a day or so before the episode aired. So it's always like a day delayed or so, right? So like, have you seen the girls going into Casa?
I think they previewed them on the Love Island page.
The page, so like, is there anyone that you would be interested in that's in like Casa? Like you're like, oh, like if I was still in the villa, because like everyone who's in the villa right now, you had met, correct?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, obviously I don't know them for personality, but looks wise, I don't know their names. But there's 2 girls in there that I saw that were for sure like I thought were cute and that would attract me. I mean, I think they're all pretty like decent, you know, like I'm interested to why they were saved for Casa and not like earlier.
Yeah, I'm always
that
curious.
Was, you know,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I do think they have in their mind, at least from whenever it's interesting to see like how they decide who goes in when. And I do think they have in their heads, you know, the producers and whatnot, like who they want to kind of be together, and then who they think, like, you know, selecting people to then go in after, starting it out, like who they think this person would be a good match for, and who's like they could ruffle some feathers or something of that nature. So maybe they kind of play on certain personalities or whatnot, but no, it's always like interesting to kind of see.
Yeah, I was really kind of interested in, at least for the questions they asked me and what when I said my type was and all this stuff, like why they put me where they put me. Like it didn't really make much sense. It was like, and they kept telling me like they wanted me to be on.
I feel like you definitely should have been one of the people that
I think
like started the show off.
They were thinking that now, but like I think they were assuming. I mean, this season is completely different than your season, like from my opinion, just in the sense of like how things are working and like it's just not. I don't know. It's just weird. But I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that they thought that I was going to go this early, for sure. So like I don't know. I think if I would have made it to Casa, like it would be a different story, for sure, a different story. But you know, that's I got to the point where I was just kind of like I was okay going home. It was a lot.
Yeah, and it's like honestly, you're literally doing nothing but talking about your feelings, emotions, with everyone there, and you don't have any outside communication with anyone, your typical maybe support system or whatnot, you know, and you're in a relationship or whatnot in the real world, you kind of rely on those people and you have no choice but to rely on everyone in there. So you're just like, okay, let me kind of fend for myself and, you know, figure it out on my own. It's
nuts.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah, also, last question is like, who do you think will make it like to the end that
I think that
you were with in there?
The strongest people in there are just Will and Kira. Will was like such a good guy. He was like one of my best friends in there. And I mean, I can totally see Shannon and Josh just like going haywire. No one else is really as close as Will and Kira are. So I could just see like, I mean, we technically don't know who's going home yet. But if I was gonna make a guess, I think that they're gonna save Giovanni and Olivia, and I think that
I was gonna say
Amy, Florida, Jeremy, and Wes are gonna all go home.
What if they save, because the guys are saving a girl and the girls are saving a guy. So what if they saved? I agree with you. I think Giovanni and Olivia is probably kind of the most likely, also because they're OGs. But what if they saved? What if the girls saved Giovanni, and then the guys, like, they didn't save a couple, and the guys end up saving Amy?
I don't think
like,
the
I think
guys
that
will.
Could be, I don't know.
I think
what do you
Amy's
think?
The least likely to be saved. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Amy's probably the least.
Amy, Florida,
I think it goes Olivia most likely. I almost positive they're going to save Olivia, but when it comes to the guys,
you think so? Like, who are the guys like?
Olivia.
Close.
Yeah, so like Josh and Olivia are really close.
For sure. Okay.
Olivia's like super dope. She's a good girl. I mean, they all are, but like she's pretty cool. Like, there's more to her than you see on the camera. So like a lot of they all like her, and she's been like trying hard and like, you know, keeping her head open for like things, and so they're gonna respect that. Parita's kind of been all over the place, and so is Amy. And then when it comes to the guys, that one could be a toss up. I think for sure they're not going to save Wes, but Jeremy, Giovanni.
Yeah, I don't think they're.
I don't think
I don't
so,
think
dude.
they'll
When I
save
got
Jeremy
into
either.
the Villa, I thought Jeremy was gonna be similar to you, and nowhere near. The dude's like, I feel bad because he's portrayed as like an introverted, very introverted, and like not in a good way. I think Twitter's like kind of bashing him right now. I feel horrible, but like he's one of the most extroverted people in the entire house. Like, dude, like doesn't stop talking, just spits raps
Really?
all day, like movie quotes. Like he's like, yeah,
That's funny.
he's got a lot more to him
Yeah.
than what at least what you see on camera. But yeah, it's
Interesting.
yeah, but I definitely think Giovanni will get saved just because he's been trying so hard with Olivia, and they just broke it off, and so they're gonna have sympathy for him, and he's also just like hilarious. So
Yeah, and then I think going into Casa too, then, you know, I think both of them would probably bring back people,
for sure.
each of them, right? Like, most likely, right? And then also, what do you think about, like, do you think Cash will end up with Cinco? Like, what do you think
I mean, I
like,
sure
what do you
hope
think's
so,
going to happen with
because
that?
when me and Cash were together, she expressed like that she still loves Cinco, and
Okay. Because you also saved Cash.
yeah,
Saved,
I mean,
right?
we did
I mean,
couple up, but like it was, yeah, but like I
Coupled
spent my
up,
nights
yeah.
telling her like, hey, go for what you want, like don't stop, whatever. I mean, Trina doesn't really do much. Like she just kind of sits there. And Cash is like the life of the party. So I could see like Cinco being swayed to Cash.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but at the same time, that might get messy. You know, like I don't know, who knows? I mean, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he went to Cash. So, who knows? But I could see all the guys' heads being turned in the Casa Amor aside from Will. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Will. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, you might be right. What would be interesting would be if you know, going into Casa, then Cash ends up, you know, picking no one and then trying to get back with Cinco, and then Cinco would obviously have to, you know, chill and not bring anyone back either. But yeah. Also, when you went in, your dates that you went on were they with Amy and Cash?
Well,
correct?
I never went on a legit date other than the one I went on with Roxy. Yeah, Roxy.
Oh, that
right. Was
okay. Yeah.
She was awesome.
What did you think about her?
Like, I was really sad that, you know, part of me I wishes that she would have stayed. You know, she's
because I mean, she was like, I feel like when you were selecting for your coupling ceremony, I feel like you were between. I mean, it kind of seemed from like watching it that you were between Cash and Amy, and then Roxy was like maybe like a distant third, just because you kind of had to date and stuff. But
she's like probably the nicest girl that came in the villa. I had some of the best conversations with her.
For sure.
Yeah, she's definitely an amazing girl. I was really sad when she left. So I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, it kind of eats at me a little bit because of that. But you know, I can't obviously go back and change it. But she was awesome.
Yeah. What was also had quite a question about like you and so like what made you pick Cash over Amy, like when you had that your first like recoupling ceremony,
I mean,
like after you got
I was 50-50 with both of them. Cash kind of came up onto me because like in the last second and it's like kind of sparked something with me, but at the same time, like I didn't have like a strong connection, like a strong of connection that I would have loved with either of them. Like my connections were just not getting there in the villa. Like you and Mackenzie went like this right away, whereas like I was just like kind of like I don't really know what direction I want to go, and like it's hard to do that with such a limited option, especially when you don't click. And so I felt like me and Cash had more potential to have fun, and like be and like have that best friend energy, but also like maybe something could progress further versus me and Amy at the time. So I felt like I just needed to go with that, and turned out that me and Cash were better just as friends, and honestly, same with Amy too. So like, I just kind of was in a bad spot because I just really didn't have a connection with anyone when I walked in.
And honestly, do you feel like that would have been different though if you would have started the show?
I think if I would have started it, maybe. I think I would have started the show. I would have had more of a connection with Shannon, or maybe something would have been different with that situation. But I think at the end of the day, like, I think that I don't really know. Like, I think I probably would have been in Corey's position, but more off of my own decision, not other girls' decision. Like, I just wasn't really I personally wasn't connecting with the other people in the villa as much as I would have liked to. So, I think I would have been in the same position regardless. But who knows? Because because all the girls I met, it wasn't like I can't force something like I don't want to force. So. I cared more about being authentic and true to myself than I cared about staying on the show. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that 100%, man. I was the same way. And, it's you just kind of trust your gut, as you're going throughout the process. You don't really question certain decisions you make. You just like feel however you're feeling, you just go for it. And maybe you overanalyze things looking back on it. I know I did, especially when you're like coming off of it, all of that. But I mean, it all it's all timing, and it all happens how it's supposed to happen. And it's now it's just keeping up with how it progresses. Absolutely. And all of that.
So I got another interview coming up here in the next 2 minutes. But dude, I really appreciate you coming on. And dude, I'm stoked to finally meet you in person. I know it's going to happen sooner than later, but who knows? If you're ever in Houston,
of course,
or
man.
If we happen to be in the same city, we'll link up. But for now, I'm happy that we got to do this and connect.
Of course, man. Yeah, dude, we'll have to do it again sometime, and hopefully we can actually.
It's gonna happen in person. Sure. Love Island family to the day we die. So.
For sure, man.
Hell yeah.
Of course, man. Of course. Good luck on your interview coming up.
I appreciate it.
All right, I'll catch up with you soon. Okay, Isaiah. All right, man.
See y'all. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys.